Could I really live in a small house? Home is everyone's basic necessity. As hard economic times descend upon us, many people are looking for affordable housing. I'm going to answer that question in this video as I explore the possibilities of living in a tiny home. Stay tuned. People are getting creative in their home choices. My favorite YouTube channels are where couples are building their own home and their dream lifestyle. I have looked at adobe homes. Those are homes made out of mud. It's a very cheap option, but it's a very slow building process because it's very labor intensive. So best done with a whole team of people. That is not for me. I've looked at straw bale homes. Sounds like a strange idea, but the hay makes excellent insulation in the house, which also means the walls are very thick. Straw bale homes are made of natural materials, and so they're eco-friendly. Straw is a renewable material, so that makes their impact on the environment very low. They're often combined with timber framing. The exteriors are usually covered with stucco and painted. The interiors can be finished in a variety of ways. This is an economical option. One problem with straw bale homes is that insurance companies don't like to insure them out of their own ignorance about them. The tightly compacted straw, when both sides are covered in stucco, they are fireproof. I looked at earth-burned homes, where the homes are mostly underground, kind of like hobbit homes. They look cozy and they seem affordable. Many are made out of recycled materials, such as old tires packed full of dirt to create walls that will eventually be buried unseen. Stuff that normally gets thrown into the landfill would just be used in the homes, which is kind of a neat idea. And you can get very creative and artistic with the design of the home. Then I found concrete underground homes. There are companies that will install concrete cubicles with a center skylight that can be grouped to make small or even massive homes. And surprisingly, they're not as dark as you might think having an underground home. I actually love this idea because you can do away with artificial heat and AC as the rooms stay a constant temperature year round, well, so they say. That reduces your utility bills. That sounds good. The floors can also have radiant heat, so you don't have cold concrete floors in the winter. And with concrete, you can polish it up. You can use acid to make marbling kind of designs. I mean, you can actually take concrete and make it look really, really good. The windows of the home need to face south to maximize the sun. The concrete is warmed by the sun, so it kind of radiates the sun, and it holds the heat for most of the day. If built properly and well waterproofed, the home will be a strong, long-lasting structure with no more need to replace the roof every 7 to 10 years, as in conventional above-ground homes. Almost no exterior siding is needed. It can work like a bunker home that will protect you against most natural disasters. I actually do love this idea. So I have drawn up floor plans for the size of home I would love, and I've got it all envisioned in my head, how the rooms will look and how it will all be laid out. But just for the concrete cubicles, without finishing it off, I would need no less than $300,000 to start off with. So for now, I put that dream on the shelf. Exploring these options is making me think of the Three Little Pigs story. Maybe I should rewrite the Three Little Pigs story, illustrating these new methods, home building. We looked at mud homes, straw homes, and concrete homes. Today, many people are even making homes out of containers. And some of them look really cool, depending on your style. I mean, for people who like that industrial look. But you can make them look however you want. I've seen some really nice container homes. For that, you would have to have some welding skills, which is something I would love to learn. My brother is a very good welder in the state of Maine. My reason for wanting to learn welding is for artistic reasons, the creative things you can make out of metals, cool sculptures. I've seen some really amazing sculptures made out of just odds and end pieces of metal and chains and parts of motors and whatever, and they make this most amazing sculptures. So for artistic reasons, I am interested in welding. People are making homes out of vans, buses, barns, and silos. I have been most intrigued by the tiny home movement that is becoming so popular. I have been following the tiny house movements for some time. A lot of them use recycled materials or reclaimed materials, which reduces their costs to build. It's a good idea. I've always loved the idea of recycling. Some spend nearly as much on a regular-sized home to create their dream tiny home. I enjoy watching the tours of tiny homes and observe how different people make their tiny home fit their interest and their needs. I purchased a shed for storage. The home I have doesn't have enough closet space or storage space, and it doesn't have an attic space. This storage shed, it has 2 lofts above. I was thinking about it and considering converting it into a tiny home in case something happened and I lost my current home. One loft could be a bedroom, the other could be clothing storage, a kitchen on one side, a sitting area on the other side, a wood stove in the middle to heat it. I drew up floor plans. It could work. But then I was thinking, how do I make space for all of my creativity? So I kept drawing up bigger and bigger plans to get the maximum size that I could possibly build and still be a portable home so that it could be hauled off and go down the road and not run into power lines or bridges or anything like that. That way it could be moved to a different location. It's always good to have a plan B option. After drawing many different floor plans, I finally came to the conclusion that I could never live in a tiny home unless I gave up all my creative hobbies. In my current home, I have my art studio place where I draw and paint. I have a crafting or project table that also serves as a Lego building table when my grandchildren or other children visit. I have my computer office desk area for editing videos. I have a card making station, which takes up a corner of my master bedroom. I have my yarn storage for knitting and crocheting project. I added a woodworking shop to keep all of our tools and to give me a space to work with wood because I love the smell of sawdust, because that means something is being created. Now that my oldest son, who is the only one of my children not married, has moved back in with us, and he has carpentry skills and masonry skills and a lot of really good skills, he uses the shop more than I do. He has been doing a lot of the work that I have a hard time fitting in, which is very helpful. I shall take advantage of this time to have him help me with my expansion plans. I have a sewing corner, which takes up space in my guest bedroom. I have future plans to add on to the house to create a devoted sewing room and add an adjoining craft closet for storage. That idea was actually my son's idea. Sometimes I need large areas to work on bigger projects, so my dining room table comes in handy for cutting out patterns and other projects, and if need be, I can move things around to make more space. Since my children have moved out of the home, my home is being overtaken by all my crafting projects. If I lived in a tiny home, I would have no space for most of these hobbies. Which ones would I give up? That would be a hard choice. Almost every day of my life is spent doing something creative, which is why my YouTube channel is so varied in its content. So I settled on buying a double-wide mobile home. I'm fairly comfortable here, but I still find that I need more space because of all my creative ventures. So I do have plans in the works to make more space because I have pretty much maxed out the space that I do currently have. The home was affordable and we paid it off in 7 years, so we're debt-free. The best part is we live in the country in a fairly quiet neighborhood. The only real noise we hear are people target shooting to keep up on their Second Amendment rights skills. I have space for my chickens. Actually, my chickens have the largest chicken run that I have seen that most people give their chickens. I have space for gardening and I have room to expand. So I may not build a tiny house to live in, but I do have dreams. And now for a preview of coming attractions. So my future plans is right over there is where I will put my guest cabin. I have a clearing here that we've been trying to keep the trees from growing up in here. This will be a great space to have a small guest cabin. And right there is where the driveway will go. So when we have guests that come and visit, like family, like my children with our grandkids, they can come and stay in the cabin that will be in this location. So I'm standing in what will become a driveway, and this will be the location of the guest cabin. The contingency plan for my future guest house is looking down the road. Let's just say 20 years from now, my husband passes away and I am left alone, and one of my children allows me to move in with them. I don't want to move in with them. I appreciate the thought. What I'd like is to take my little guest cabin with me. So I want it small enough that I can transport it to wherever, and then I can maintain my independence. So this cabin will be designed for me to accommodate that future day, so that I have a home to maintain my independence in my late years, and I can sit and make my baskets or crochet or knit or whatever when I am not living such an active life. So I'm thinking of the long-term future with this guest cabin, but it'll also serve for when my children come to visit. It's always good to have a plan B. That is my chicken coop and pen area, storage shed, woodwork shop, and I have future plans for right over here. Imagine, if you will, a lovely little stone path going between these trees with a curvy path leading to over near where I've planted my magnolia tree. I will have an adorable little cabin. Over there will be my lovely little, pretty little Victorian she shed situated right there. I've got it all visioned out in my head. A Victorian she shed just for me. Here's my vision for my special she shed. A quiet retreat to sit in a chaise lounge to read a good novel in total silence. I love the sound of silence. Hey, I raised 6 noisy kids, 5 of them are boys, for 30 plus years. After that, silence sounds real good to me. But those 2 projects will be a while off, because I need to get the most important things done on the house first. So if this content interests you, please subscribe to see our progress on the house as we remove the trailer look from our mobile home and we expand the house so that I can continue all of my creative pursuits. Thanks for watching.